Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and today I'm bringing you a TBR video. So in the month of February, there are two readathons that I'm going to be participating in. One is the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, which is a readathon based on the Supernatural TV show, which I am a huge fan of. I love that show so much. I watched all 15 seasons and I have been a fan since it premiered. So as soon as I found out about this readathon, I of course was going to participate. This readathon was created by Whitney over at Books With Me and Lauren over at Reading Parent. There is a Twitter, so that will be linked in the description box for you. There's also a Discord as well, so that will be linked. And the other readathon I'm going to be participating in is the Black Author Readathon. This is hosted by a number of different YouTubers and bookstagrammers, and I'm just going to go through them. I believe the person that kind of streamlined everything, her name is Marche at Mommy What You Readin', and then Steph over at Steph's Romance Book Talk, Bree at Falling for Romance, India at Life is a Page Turner, Latoya at Reading by the Bayou, Tara over at Reading with Tara, Kaylee at Kaylee's Bookshelf, Monique at Monique's Book List, Brandy at Brandy Janae's Bookshelf. There's another Brandy at Books with Brandy Shanae, and Zaya at Witty Reads. So some of them have just Bookstagram, and then the other ones have both Bookstagram and YouTube. So all of the hosts will be linked in the description box below for you. I have my little cheat sheet here. Both of the readathons have a bingo board. So for the Wayward-A-thon, I'm going to put it over here. So there are 20 prompts for the Wayward-A-thon readathon. And then we have the Black Author Readathon bingo board here. And there is also 20 prompts. For the Black Author Readathon, there's not just reading prompts, there's actually other prompts. There's like a free space. There's post a TBR, post a picture, I believe. So they're not just reading prompts, there are other prompts as well. To get through both of these readathons, I did double up on a lot of the books, sometimes triple up, because honestly, February is only 28 days. That's a lot of books. So I'm just gonna go through the books, no really particular order. I'm gonna say the book and then what prompt they fit for both readathons. Oh, I almost forgot. There is another readathon happening in February as well, and that is the Blackoweenathon Lite. So Bree over at the Locked Petition and Erica, they decided to bring back the Blackoweenathon, but only like for 1 week, I think. And there's only one prompt. It's read a book by a Black author. I have my little cheat sheet here. So the first book I have is Haven by Rebecca Weatherspoon. And for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, they are for the prompts Pilot or First in a Series and Wendigo, Set in the Mountains. And for the Black Author Readathon, it's for the prompt Forbidden, Dark, or Taboo Read. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the synopsis. City girl Claudia Kay's carefree life is plunged into chaos when a camping trip with her brother in the National Forest of Northern California turns into a deadly dash for her survival. Claudia is desperate to heal from her traumatic loss, but can't stop thinking about her run-in with evil or the grizzlied mountain man whose quick thinking and good aim saved her life. So this is the first in the Beers in Bondage series. It is set in the mountains. And then for Forbidden, Dark, or Taboo, this is categorized as a BDSM novel, so I just fitted in that prompt. The next book I have is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I have been trying to read this book for a readathon probably since it came out, and I'm gonna do it next month. It's gonna happen. So for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, I have that for the prompts Bloody Mary, retelling of a classic. I believe this is kind of like a King Arthur, not necessarily retelling, but it's like the characters in this book are descendants from the King Arthur line. And the next prompt is for Nightmare. It's a chosen one trope. And here's the synopsis. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family's memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called Legendborn students that hunt those creatures down, and a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. So this sounds so amazing. I cannot wait to read that. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. For the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, it is for the prompts Dead in the Water, and that's for water on the cover. And for the Black Author Readathon, it's for an enemies to lovers trope. So when I first got this, it was a complete cover buy. It is gorgeous. I love all the purples and pinks and blues. I love it so much. There is, of course, water on the cover, and I'm just going to read the synopsis. Can a girl who risks her life for books and an alien who loves forbidden pop music work together to save humanity? I mean, that's the most epic tagline I've ever heard, right? So 2 years ago, a misunderstanding between the leaders of Earth and the invading Ilori resulted in the deaths of 1/3 of the world's population. 17-year-old Elle Baker survives in a Ilori-controlled center in New York City. Deemed dangerously volatile because of their initial reaction to the invasion, humanity's emotional transgressions are now grounds for execution. All art, books, and creative expression are illegal, but Elle breaks the rules by keeping a secret library. I mean, I would do this. I would do this 100%. When a book goes missing, Elle is terrified that the Ilori will track it back to her and kill her. Born in a lab, Morris was raised to be emotionless. When he finds Ellie's illegal library, he's duty-bound to deliver her for execution. The trouble is, he finds himself drawn to human music and in desperate need for more. This sounds so amazing. I'm so mad at myself that I haven't read it. It sounds so good. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Edge of Midnight by Beverly Jenkins. And for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, that is for the prompt Phantom Traveler. The MC goes undercover. And for the Black Author Readathon, it is for a romantic suspense. So I believe The Edge of Midnight is Beverly Jenkins' first romantic suspense, so I am very excited to read it. So here is the synopsis. Sparks fly when Mikal Chandler, the head of a covert government agency, fights to protect the woman he has fallen in love with. Sarita Grayson is desperate. That's the only explanation for her late night rendezvous with a bag of stolen diamonds. But then a handsome stranger stands between her and a clean getaway. In the struggle for her freedom, she accidentally shoots him. Mikal Chandler, head of a covert government agency, NIA, can't believe he's been shot. He's shocked. He's furious, but he's also attracted to this sassy woman. I mean, what a meet cute, am I right? That sounds amazing. I love it. So the next book I'm going to be talking about is The Bittersweet Bride by Vanessa Riley. For the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, I have that for the prompt Skin. Read a book you're unsure about. And for the Black Author Readathon, it's for a historical romance. So for the book you're unsure about, I simply put that one in there just because it doesn't have the best reviews on Goodreads. It does have an okay average rating of 3.46 out of 267 ratings. But when you scroll down, you'll see there's a couple 3s, there's a 1 star. So I was just unsure about it, but this is the synopsis. Widow Theodosia Cecile needs a husband to help protect her son. The former flower seller turned estate owner posts an ad in the newspaper, and no one is more surprised than she when her first love, the man she thought dead, reappears. So I'm not exactly sure what time this is in, because it does say it's a historical, but it's not saying what the year is. Oh, there's a DNF rating too. It's listed as a historical. It should work for this prompt. The next book I'm going to talk about is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. And for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, it's for Hookman. Read a book based on lore or mythology. So this is based on West African lore, I believe. And for the Black Author Readathon, read a fantasy or paranormal book. I've been wanting to read this book for a long time too, but let's look at the synopsis. For Malik, the Solstasia Festival is a chance to escape his war-stricken home and start a new life with his sisters in the prosperous desert city of Zaran. But when a vengeful spirit abducts Malik's younger sister, Nadia, as a payment into the city, Malik strikes a fatal deal. Kill Karina, crown princess of Zaran, for Nadia's freedom. But Karina has deadly aspirations of her own. Her mother, the Sultana, has been assassinated. Her court threatens mutiny, and Solstasia looms like a knife over her neck. Grief-stricken, Karina decides to resurrect her mother through magic, requiring the beating heart of a king. and she knows just how to obtain one by offering her hand in marriage to the victor of the Solstasia competition. When Malik rigs his way into the contest, they are set on a course to destroy each other. But as attraction flares between them, an ancient evil stirs. Will they be able to see their task to the death? The first in a fantasy duology inspired by West African folklore, in which a grieving crown princess and a desperate refugee find themselves on a collision course to murder each other despite their growing attraction. I mean, that sounds amazing, and I can't wait to read it. The next book I'm going to read is Mustard-Based Murder by Nicole Reese. Those prompts for the Wayward-A-thon, the prompt is Sam, book with a romantic character, and the Black Author Readathon, read a novella. So these are, I believe the series for these are called Holiday Shorts, and they're kind of little novellas based on the different holidays. The first one I read was Chocolate Covered Murder, and that's a Valentine's Day themed one. So this mustard-based one is a 4th of July themed one, I believe. So not very long at all, it's 51 pages, so definitely makes the novella prompt. But for the synopsis, Sean Thompson is a man in love. He has one thing left to do before proposing, taking the love of his life to meet his family. Tanisha Adams knows something is up. Her predictable boyfriend is acting funny, and so is her stomach. She can't seem to keep anything down or get any answers out of her man, but she is determined to figure it out. When Sean takes Tanisha to his hometown of South Carolina for the annual community cook-off, he didn't think anything could possibly go wrong. But when someone drops dead, fingers start pointing, everything spirals out of control. Can Tanisha and Sean figure out what happened? Or should some secrets be carried to the grave? So this sounds really cute and adorable. Of course, we have the romantic character Sean, who's going to propose to his girlfriend after meeting his family. Adorable. And we have the novella prompt. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, that is for Bugs, read a book by an Indigenous author, and Scarecrow, read a book that gives you creepy feels. So this is supposed to be a horror. So what I've heard about this book is there are some spooky elements, a tale of revenge, cultural identity, and the cost of breaking from tradition. The Only Good Indians follow 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on revenge, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent and vengeful way. So yeah, I am super excited to read this. But yeah, definitely a book to read during the day. I don't know what it is, but I always seem to read horror books at night. I don't know why. The next book I'm going to be reading is A Duke by Default by Alyssa Cole. And for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, that is for the prompt, Asylum, Mental Health Rep, Something Wicked, Give a Book a Second Chance. And the prompt for the Black Author Readathon is Age Gap. So for the mental health rep, I believe Portia in this book has ADHD, I believe I've read a review that said that. As for the prompt, Give a Book a Second Chance, I read A Princess in Theory a few years ago, and I enjoyed it. I believe I gave it 3 or 3.5 stars, but it didn't really motivate me to read the rest of the series. So I'm definitely going to be doing that now. So that's why it fits for the prompt, Give a Book a Second Chance. And for the age gap prompt, I believe, I don't know how old the male character is, but it says Tavish is described as a silver fox. So I'm going to bring up the synopsis. New York City socialite and perpetual hot mess, Portia Hobbs is tired of disappointing her family, friends, and most importantly, herself. An apprenticeship with a struggling swordmaker in Scotland is a chance to use her expertise and discover what she's capable of. Turns out she excels at aggravating her gruff silver fox boss when she's not having inappropriate fantasies about his sexy Scottish burr. So yeah, silver fox, gotta be an age gap, right? So it works. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Concrete Park by Erica Alexander and Tony Puryear. I think that's how you say it. Sorry. I'm probably butchering that name. I apologize. So for the Wayward-A-thon, the prompts are Hell House, read a paranormal, and for the Black Author Readathon, read a romance graphic novel. This prompt for the Black Author Readathon, the romance graphic novel, was kind of difficult for me. So this is the synopsis. Earth's outcasts, exiled to a distant desert planet and forgotten, will either destroy each other with gang violence or find a path to redemption that will create something entirely new. Concrete Park, a dark, sexy sci-fi saga by Tony Puryear, screenwriter of Eraser, and Erica Alexander, she's an actress on the show Living Single, is filled with an unforgettable protagonist, a colorful supporting cast, redemption, romance, and nonstop action presented in an exceptional, vibrant style. So I can't wait to dive into this one just to see how the art is, because usually that's what draws me into a graphic novel or a comic, how great the art is. I'm really excited for this one. I'm really excited for a lot of these books, but honestly, very excited. Next book I have here is Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. So the prompts for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon is faith, book with a religion different than yours. And for the Black Author Readathon, it is childhood to grown folks romance. So it doesn't say in the synopsis, but I read in a review that the male protagonist is Jewish. His name is Ezra, I believe. Yeah, Ezra. If anybody has read this and I am wrong, please let me know, because then I need to change my book. The boy who always felt like mine is now the man I can't have. Dig a little and you'll find photos of me in the bathtub with Ezra Stern. Get your mind out of the gutter, we're only 6 months old. Childhood to grown folks. Pry and one of us might confess we saved our first kiss for each other. The most clumsy, wet, sloppy, spectacular 30 seconds of my adolescence. Get into our business and you'll see two families, closer than blood, torn apart in an instant. 20 years later, my awkward duckling best friend from childhood, the boy no one noticed, is a man no one can ignore. Sounds so good. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Room Hate by Penelope Ward. For the Wayward-A-thon TBR, it's for Meg, friends to enemies trope. That's a little different. That was a little different. And for Salvation, an emotional read. Sharing a summer house with a hot as hell roommate should be a dream come true, right? Not when it's Justin, the only person I'd ever loved, who now hates me. When my grandmother died and left me half of the house on Aquanac Island, there was a catch. The other half would go to the boy she helped raise. The same boy who turned into the teenager whose heart I broke years ago. The same teenager who's now a man with a hard body and a hard-ass personality to match. I hadn't seen him for years, and now we're living together because neither one of us is willing to give up the house. The worst part? He didn't come alone. I'd soon realize there's a thin line between love and hate. So I don't think I've read anything by Penelope Ward, so this is also kind of like a book I'm not sure about. Honestly, a lot of these books can fit for different prompts within each readathon, so if I don't get to some books, I could probably make them fit to work different prompts. The next book I'm going to read is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, and shout out to Deja who gave me this recommendation. For the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, it is for the Benders Read a Psychological Thriller. A couple's 15-year marriage has finally gotten too interesting. Our love story is simple. I met a gorgeous woman, we fell in love, we had kids, we moved to the suburbs. We told each other our biggest dreams and our darkest secrets. And then we got bored. We look like a normal couple. We're your neighbors, the parents of your kid's friend, the acquaintances you keep meaning to have dinner with. We all have secrets to keeping a marriage alive. Ours just happened to be getting away with murder. Ooh, sounds so good. And then this cover too, she's like holding a knife. Scary. The next book I'm going to read is Acquainted with the Night by Piper Maitland. And that is for the Wayward-A-thon prompt, Dead Man's Blood, Read a Book with Vampires. London tour guide Carolyn Clifford has never believed in vampires until her uncle is brutally murdered at the Bulgarian archaeological site, and a vampire hunter who's corresponded with him seeks her out. The next book I'm going to read is Black Tie Billionaire by Naima Simone. For the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, that is for Dean, read a book with a bad boy trope. And for the Black Author Readathon, we have read a fake dating romance and read an interracial romance. During a blackout at a black tie gala, heiress Shay Neal, attending in disguise, says yes to one night with billionaire Gideon Knight, not knowing he's her brother's enemy with plans for payback. When the lights come back on, they go their separate ways, but their paths are about to cross again with fateful consequences. That's because Gideon can't forgive what Shay's brother did to his family and is determined to exact revenge on the Neals through none other than Shay. What Gideon didn't realize is that Shay and the mysterious woman from the blackout are one and the same. Even when he goes to Shay and blackmails her into a fake relationship, he's still in the dark about her identity. Now, to save her brother, Shay must pretend to be in love with Gideon. But the masks are about to come off, and soon playing his game means resisting the very real desire that could destroy them both. Very excited to be reading this one. I'm really enjoying category romances, so this is from the Desire line. The next book I'm going to read is The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan, and that's for the prompt for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon. Shadow, read a middle grade or a children's book, and Devil's Trap, read a book with a found family trope. So this is also for the Percy Jackson Readalong that Bree over at the Locked Booktition and I are doing. We're reading one of these books a month and we're having live stream discussions as well. All right, so the synopsis. The heroic son of Poseidon makes an action-packed comeback in the second must-read installment of Rick Riordan's amazing young readers series, starring Percy Jackson, a half-blood whose mother is human and whose father is the god of the sea. In this episode, The Sea of Monsters, Percy sets out to retrieve the Golden Fleece before his summer camp is destroyed. The next book I'm going to be reading is A Catalina Cove Christmas by Brenda Jackson. And for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, that is for Route 666, First Love Trope. And for the Black Author Readathon, read a second chance romance. A year ago, Isaac Alorian returned to his hometown of Catalina Cove seeking peace, quiet, and happiness. However, his high school's holiday homecoming is about to cause turmoil in his life when his childhood sweetheart and ex-wife returns for the reunion. He wants to hate her for choosing her career over their marriage, but discovers there's a thin line between love and hate. Donna Elorian returns to the Cove not knowing what to expect. When she sees her ex-husband again, she realizes that she still loves him and regrets the pain she caused. She is determined to win his heart again. Doing so isn't easy when someone from their past is intent on keeping them apart. Yes, it's a Christmas book. Don't come for me. Next book I'm going to be reading is Sweet Talkin' Lover by Tracy Livesay. And for the Black Author Readathon, that is the Friend Group series. So this is her debut novel as well. When everything is on the line, surrendering completely to love is your only choice. Marketing manager Kalia knows that the road to success in the beauty industry doesn't allow for detours. She's forsaken any trace of a social life, working 24/7 to ensure her next promotion. When grief over her grandfather's death leads to several catastrophic decisions, Kalia gets one final chance to prove herself. Shut down an unprofitable factory in a small southern town, but as soon as she arrives in Bradelton, she meets one outsized problem: the town's gorgeous mayor. Wyatt Bradley isn't thrilled about his nickname, Mayor McHottie. He's even less happy to learn that his town might be losing his biggest employer. If he has to, he'll use some sneaky tactics to get Kalia on his side. Yet even as he's hoping she'd fall for Bradelton, he's falling too, right into a combustible affair that shakes them both with its intensity. Sounds like it's going to be very sweet. The next book I'm going to be reading is Inevitable Conclusions by Christina C. Jones. For the Black Author Readathon, that's going to be Friends to Lovers and a mature romance. So for the mature romance, it's just a read about older protagonists. I believe these two are nearing their 40s. So friends, lovers, both. For Cora and Tariq, those lines have been blurred for a long time. Every time clarity seems to be within reach, something shifts, and in a single moment, focus is lost. Once again, they're in limbo. Between them, there's only one secret, with the power to permanently alter their relationship. For good or for bad, neither of them knows, nor they're willing to take that risk. Through the pain of past tragedies and the pressure of current dramas, they always find solace in each other's arms. Inescapably connected by the interminable bonds of friendship, Tariq and Cora navigate family, life, and love, searching for separate answers to a problem that has only one unavoidable solution. The next book I'm going to be reading is Playing with Seduction by Reese Ryan. And that's for the prompt for the Black Author Readathon. New to you, Black author, and read a sports romance. There's no safety net in love. As the reigning queen of competitive beach volleyball, Brianna Evans wants her career to go out with a bang. And what better send-off than a signature tournament sponsored by an exclusive high-end luxury resort? But Bree's heart could end up on the line. Her partner on the project is the irresistible man with whom she shared one perfect night and never heard from again. And last but certainly not least, Let Me Love You by Alexandria House. For the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, that is for the prompt home, set near your hometown. And for the Black Author Readathon, read a rock star romance and read a single parent romance. This could also work for new to me Black author, but I also wanted to read that other book. So trying to put past hurts behind you is hard when your ex is a fool, but buoyed by child support and alimony, Jo Walker is moving forward with her life, pursuing a career, raising her little girl, and trying to live in peace. She believes she has all the bases covered in her world, but what about her heart? Rap legend Everett Big South McLean is divorced too, knows all about failed relationships, and has relegated his love life to casual connections rather than pursuing something real. That is until he lays eyes on Jo. She's exactly what he never knew he needed. He's what's been missing from her world. Will she accept what he has to offer and let him love her? But this is also for the Waywardathon prompt Provenance, read a book featuring the arts. He's a rapper, he's into music. I don't know why it wasn't written on my little cheat sheet, I'm sorry. So for the Waywardathon, it's for home, read a book set near your hometown, and per Provenance, read a book featuring the arts, and for the Black Author Readathon, rockstar romance and single parent romance. So for the book set in your hometown, I literally could not find a book that's set in Phoenix. I mean, I could, but not really one that I wanted to read. And that was probably one of the last prompts that I was working on too. So I just went through all these books and I'm like, where are all these books set in? So Let Me Love You is set in LA. And out of all these books that I'm reading, that one is the closest to my hometown. So those are all the books that I'm going to be reading for the Wayward-A-thon Readathon, the Black Author Readathon, and for the Blackoweenathon Lite. If you've read any of these books that I've talked about, let me know how you liked them and which book I should start with first. Don't forget to like my video if you did, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on all the social media platforms. The links will be in the description box below. We'll see you next time, avid readers.